is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.
Well, singing us in there this month is Linda Perry with What's Up, Four Non-Blondes. Back in 1993 it was that Linda Perry and the Four Non-Blondes sung that song. And the words of it, I think, are very fitting because what's going on? What's up? And it's an expression we're hearing more and more. People saying, what's up? What's going on? What's happening? It comes with the changes. It comes with globalization. It comes with the fact that the world keeps moving, keeps adapting, keeps wanting to move in different ways. And here we are, in whatever country we're in, we're facing the facts that the world has changed and that globalization is taking place. So what are we going to do about it? And I actually believe that it's at this time that leadership is going to become more and more important, because it's when we are having to move ahead. You know, you talk to any businessman, they're saying change is coming on so fast. You're having to stay ahead of what's going on. You're having to find out more about things. You're having to be outwardly focused. What's happening with technology? What's happening with the marketplace? What's happening with what's going on out there? So now comes a time when people are looking more and more at, or needing to look more and more at, where the world is going. And so as leaders, this has a great effect on us. Because the old way of leadership was you could be very focused on your business. You could be in your business, you could be concentrating on what's going on inside your business, and largely you'd be safe. Obviously you'd have to look outwardly because of the customers and so forth, but you knew your marketplace, it was out there, it was easy to work with. But that same marketplace has exploded and got so much bigger. That same marketplace has just made huge leaps and bounds. And of course the pressures that are coming in as a result of that mean that change is faster. Technology makes change faster. Everything happens on a quicker and more elaborate speed, if you like. So, I think we're living in a time when the question is, what is leadership is needed? What is the future of leadership? The leaders who are going to lead our organization in the years ahead, what is going to be important to them? And I have a definition which I want to share with you. I believe that leadership now is about working your way out of a job. I actually believe that the real leaders are the ones that are working themselves out of a job rather than into a job. You see, the days of, right, okay, I'm taking this job on and I'm going to work my way in here and I'm going to set it up and I'm going to be the front of the organization, or I'm going to be the leader of this organization, and then you can lead it and take it forward for great periods of time. I think those days have gone. I think now leadership is about getting the organization to run without you so that you can look ahead, so that you can look at the marketplace, the larger marketplace, look at the opportunities that are there, keep abreast with technology, keep abreast with developments, find alliances that you can work with. I believe that that's where the focus needs to be. And that means you need to be working your way out of a job. If you're so absorbed in the job, if you're so absorbed in the company, then what happens is you haven't got the time to do all those other things. And the next thing you see, the world changes and you are not prepared for it. Now, please don't get me wrong. I completely agree that there is times when you need to be in there in the thick of it. If you're taking over a business that's failing or is collapsed or is in difficulties, then there is a need for you to be able to get in there and put the systems in place, put the procedures in place, get the people behind the direction you're trying to go in, get them focused, galvanize them into action. So it's about taking control of the situation and working in the business. But there comes a time when that style is no longer needed. There comes a time, pivotal point in a situation like that. You've got the systems in place. You've proved that the systems have worked. You've got the right people operating the systems. People have bought into all the direction and the focus that you've got. People understand what's required of them. And that's the time you have to start to pull away. That's the time that you have to start to take a back step and move away from being in control and being in the middle of it. That's the beginning of your journey. The journey being working your way out of the job. So the question really is, how good are you at letting go and working your way out of a job? Or are you one of those who's constantly working his or her way into the job? Are you the leader who's going to be able to cope with the new world, with globalization, with the way the trends are moving, with what's happening? Because if you haven't got this mindset, if you aren't prepared and thinking in this way, then you are not going to be in a position to be really effective and do what you're meant to do. So, I've got some interesting questions for you for this month. And I want you to think what your mindset is about this position. Do you see yourself as someone that needs to take control? Or you see yourself as someone that needs to give control to the right people at the right time? My experience is that the best leaders were the ones who set about trying to leave a legacy. They set about trying to leave something that was operational, that they could actually step away from and it would keep going, and didn't need and wasn't defined by their presence. I see this in various places and associations. I see it, for instance, in football clubs. You know, the definition of how good some of the football club leaders are is going to be about what happens when those leaders have left, not what's happening while they're there. Because if they build a great football club and then disappear, in other words, take retirement, and that club collapses, then their leadership is what I call caretaker leadership. It's, in other words, it's fine while I'm there caretaking the situation. What we need is what I call champion leaders. Leaders who can get off and the train will keep moving. The bus will continue its journey. Someone else can step in a role. In fact, the most outstanding leaders are ones who are training people to take over from them. I went into a wonderful organization recently where there's a whole philosophy of the organization is one of everybody constantly finding people to teach them their jobs. Because if you want to move on in the organization, you first have to teach someone to do your job. And that was all the way up to the managing director. Everybody's teaching somebody else to do their job. So you got that style or that approach to your leadership? Are you one of these caretaker leaders who is building an empire that may not survive without you? Or are you one of these champion leaders who is actually developing an organization that you will be remembered for the contribution you made to its development? So, are you handing over a running operation or an operation that has comes to a standstill? If you walk away, is your operation running smoothly and someone else is there to step into your shoes to build on your momentum? Or are you the person who, when you stepped away, somebody has to come along and pick up the pieces? So these are the questions I want you to consider this month. What stage is your business cycle in? What does your business need at this moment in time? Are you still fighting your way into the business when you actually need to be focused outwards? Are you dealing with the future rather than dealing in the present? You know, we live in a society these days when everybody wants everything now. It's instant gratification. You know, we don't build things for the future. I remember going to Barcelona in Spain to speak at a conference there a little while ago and visiting the cathedral that's still being built here 100 years later, and this cathedral is still being built. The guy who designed that has died. But his leadership in terms of his vision, his aspiration, and in terms of getting the foundations down and everything else, lives on in others who are continuing his work. That is a truly inspiring position. These days we build because we want to occupy them next week. And if we're not careful, we develop a leadership style, which is one of building to occupy it for next week. When actually what we want is to build for the future. So, I hope this has given you some food for thought. And when you hear the scream from people, now what's going on? Be in a position where you can answer that. Be in a position where you can say, I'll tell you what's going on. This is what's going on out there because I've got my eyes on it. This is what's happening out there, and this is how we are reacting to it. And don't worry, someone around here is in control because someone is out there looking and finding out where we're going to go. And you can answer the cry, what's going on. Have an absolutely great month. And I look forward to seeing you again. Take care.
I didn't feel it.